Imagine yourself as a fish, swimming peacefully in the depths of the coral reefs with no worries in the world. Suddenly, you feel a tingly sensation in your mouth, and lo and behold, hello once again, I'm Melissa Martin, and welcome to today's topic on crustacean parasites of fishes. Now you must be wondering, wasn't that a scary little creature? Are there more such crustaceans? How much harm can they cause to fishes? Well, today I will take you on a journey of a small yet manipulative world of these real yet amazing parasites. My topics for today will generally cover a brief introduction on crustacean parasites with special preference to the branchurians, copepods, and cymathoid isopods. From the above groups, I will skim through the morphological aspects, the different life cycles involved for each group, symptoms of these parasites towards fishes, and for some, the management or preventative methods of such parasites from occurring. So, before we move into parasitic crustaceans, we must understand how these organisms are classified according to crustaceans. Crustaceans fall under the phylum Arthropoda, which are invertebrate organisms having a segmented body and jointed appendages. The Crustacea is a subphylum which includes the commercial shrimps, lobsters, and crabs, but also the common but probably poorly known amphipods, copepods, isopods, and barnacles. Now, moving on to the topic of crustacean parasites. These parasites of fishes are ubiquitous in fresh, brackish, and marine waters. They can cause minor harm to their hosts when present in small numbers. However, in the case of heavy infections, they cause severe damage to skin, muscles, and gill tissues, accompanied with secondary infections. The crustacean parasite dealt here are primarily those that are likely to cause problems in aquaculture and fisheries industry. The three main groups of parasitic crustaceans affecting commercially important fish species, which includes aquaculture and wild fish species, are the branchurians, copepoda, and isopoda. Without further ado, we will discuss on our first major group, the branchurians. Most branchurians occur in freshwater, but a few species are ectoparasites on the skin of marine fish. Of the four genera from the family Argulidae, the commonly represented genus is Argulis, aka the fish lice. Their sizes are approximately 0.5 to 1 centimeter in diameter, of which the female is larger than the male. They have broad, flat oval bodies covered by a carapace with compound eyes. Branchurian mouthparts are modified for their parasitic lifestyle, which includes a piercing stylet and 2 suction cups it uses to attach to its host. The thoracopods are appendages, equipped with hooks and spines to aid swimming. The female has a visible pair of spermaticeae on its posterior end, in which the male deposits sperm. Although Argulis species cannot survive without a host for long periods, they can swim freely in search of a new host. Unlike other crustaceans, eggs are not carried by the females in egg sacs, but are deposited on submerged objects or hard surfaces. The larva of the fish louse has two main stages. In its newly hatched stage, it has been termed as metanopleus, like the nopleus of many other crustaceans, but with a swimming apparatus that is more developed. Some researchers consider the apparatus of the larva too developed to be called a nopleus and has been termed copepoded by some. The newly hatched larvae can parasitize a host, but because it lacks developed suckers, it attaches to its host with hooked antennae. After its first molt, it is referred to as a juvenile, as it looks and swims similarly to an adult, only smaller. The juvenile can molt 11 times before reaching to adulthood. Branchurians leave their host for several reasons: to find a different host, mate, and to lay eggs. When they locate a new host, they scurry toward the head and attach behind the fish operculum or a fin. These protected site attachment reduces the tendency of dislodging from its host. In regards to feeding, they insert the stylet into the fish skin, which breaks down the tissue through the secretion of enzymes. The repeated puncturing of the skin, combined with activity of the parasite's serrated mouthparts, can cause damage and irritation. Fishes that are heavily infested with hundreds of branchurians can become debiliated. Some of the symptoms shown by fishes are signs of irritation, such as repeated jumping or congregation at high water movements. They may also demonstrate lethargy and appear darkened in coloration. Transmission of branchurians within an aquaculture system is by physical contact with infected animals, as it has been observed on frogs and toads, or by the free-living infective stages after reproduction. Many parasites are transferred to culture system by way of water, live feed, wild fish, contaminated farm implements, etc. Hence, control methods may vary greatly depending upon the farm conditions. The only way to prevent Argillus infection is to deny parasite access to cultivatable fishes. Appropriate filter designs might prove more efficient to check the degree of infestation. High stock densities increase the risk of Argillus problems. Therefore, careful management of the stock can reduce the risk of disease outbreaks. A short bath in a sodium chloride solution can reduce the parasite load on a fish, but this treatment must be done carefully. Dropped water levels to expose egg strings, as allowing water levels to drop will expose and kill parasite eggs laid on hard substrates. Remove excess weed, improve water clarity, and increase depth can reduce the risk of Argillus outbreaks as well. So now we move on to the second group of parasite crustaceans called the copepods. Copepods are a morphologically diverse group with marked structural modification to suit their parasitic mode of life. They range from the typical features of common copepods, which has unfused segments called somites and complete appendages, to species of the family Lerneidae and Penelidae, commonly known as the anchorworm, in which the body segments are fused together and many of the appendages are missing or modified, at least in the parasitic stage. Generally, sensory organs and the reproductive systems are well developed. There is clear sexual dimorphism within the group, with males being predominantly smaller than females, and mature females have distinctive paired egg sacs at the posterior end. Now, parasitic copypods have a complex life cycle with different larval stages. Eggs hatch to release free-swimming nauplius larvae. After a succession of nauplius stages, they molt to form copypod stages. The nauplius metamorphoses into first or second copypodid stage in the 4th or 16 days. No further development occurs unless it attaches to a host. Larvae pass through 5 successive copypodid stages before attachment, reaching the calamus stage. The calamus stage permits mobility around the surface of fish for the parasite, growing to a length of 5 millimeters for the males or 10 millimeters for the females. At the end of this phase, 2 pre-adult stages are followed by the fully mature adult phase. In the final molt's 2 adult stages, the female is larger than the male, with males measuring 5 to 6 millimeters and females 8 to 18 millimeters. In the case of the salmon louse, female adults can produce 10 to 11 pairs of egg strings over their life cycle. For some parasitic copypods, copulation occurs during the free swimming stages, after which the male dies. The female is left to seek, attach, and mature on a marine or freshwater fish host with the help of the prominent claw-like second antennae. So from slides 16 to 20, I have provided examples of copypods from the genera Caligus, Ergacillus, Lananthropus, and Lernea. Please refer to those slides or the PDF attachment at your own time. Moving on to my personal favorite group, I introduce to you the isopods. Isopods are primarily found in warm tropical waters and have different modes of life, such as scavenging, free-living, and parasitic. The parasitic isopods not only infect fish, but also crustaceans. Species of the family Cymothoidae are strictly parasitic on fishes, though there have been reports of cymothoids on invertebrates. Bear in mind that these are accidental occurrences. The Gnathidae are abundant on the gills of tropical marine fishes, such as both elasmobranch and teleost, and represent a primary source of food for cleaner fish. The families Bopiridae and Cryptoniscoidae are parasitic crustaceans of other crustaceans, such as crabs and prawns. The brief focus here will be on the family Cymothoidae. The cymothoids consist of 300 overspecies in the family. They are attached to freshwater, brackish, and predominantly marine fishes. They are commonly known as the tongue biter, named in accordance to their side attachment on the host. There are others though that attach to the gills and fins, while others burrow into the flesh. Cymothoids are protandrous hermaphrodites, where all juveniles are males before developing into adult females. The females releases up to 100 eggs at a time into a brood pouch on the underside of its abdomen. The eggs hatch and undergo 2 or more molts to form juveniles, which are released into the water to seek out a suitable host. The first male to parasitize a fish will change into a female, whereas subsequent males attaching to the same fish remain male, possibly from a pheromone released by the female. If one were to see cymothoids in the fish tanks, the best approach is to remove the adult cymothoids. If mencae are found, then it would be best to have freshwater buds. The The taxonomy of buccal-attaching cymathoids have recently received much attention since a lot of the known tongue biters were known as Cymathoa exigua, which is quite the opposite. If you would like further understanding on these parasites, I would recommend you these references. For further information, I would encourage you to refer to these journals and these website links. So, to conclude this topic, I have covered the major crustacean affecting aquaculture and wild fish species, which are the branchurians, copepods, and cymathoid isopods, with special attention to the morphology, the life cycle, symptoms, and preventions of these parasites. And so, we have reached to the end of our topic. Despite the very brief explanation of crustacean parasites, I hope this course was conclusive enough to lay the foundation of the most major crustacean parasites, and hopefully you won't have nightmares looking at fishes' mouths or other body parts. I hope this course was enjoyable for you, as it was for me sharing this with you. With that, I bid you adieu. Until next time, thank you.